Hello, hello. Welcome. Today we're going to be looking at the 52 Book Club challenge for 2026. I have started a little bit of it because it is halfway through the month of January, just about. And as I was reading books, I'm obviously trying to find spots to fit them in all the challenges. So I have some on there from that. And then additionally, I was working on the pop this over. The Read It, Watch It challenge, because I figured we're not doing that one together. I'll go ahead and start working on it. And then I realized that, well, the way that these work is that they are with a prompt from the main. So obviously when I'm planning the Read It, Watch It challenge, I am also planning the regular challenge. So I was like, okay, well, let's put a pause then on that and come back to it. You can see I literally stopped partway through it. I haven't even filled out what these prompts are on some of them, that I need to go back and do that. And I haven't done anything for the last bit of the year. Um, Other than that, I just finished this one today. So that would be One Dark Window. So I'll go ahead and pop that in. And then we will get through as many of these as we can in not too long of a period of time, because unfortunately I don't have a ton of time to plan today. I have a million and one things it feels like I need to do, and there are some of these that I feel like are going to take me ages to do. So I want to get all the ones that are going to be easy to knock out done first. So I went ahead and printed off my TBR for January that we did together, and then I have Storygraph up, and I have my priority reads list and series list. So let's get planning. First three we're going to come back to because none of those I have any thoughts on at this point. So the first one I actually have like thoughts about what I want to put in there is the conspiracy one, and the most recent that is like poignant in my brain. Poignant, is that poignant even the right word? Anyway, that is standing out in my brain is what is the name of that series? It's by Carrick, Brook and Rose. So I want to go ahead and find one of those to put in here. So I have started tagging. I'm not done. I've only gotten about, oh goodness gracious, like 20 rows maybe done at this point. So I have quite a ways to go. Let's do this one because I have a feeling I'm going to finish the whole series this year because I already finished the first one and, well, I enjoyed it. I had a lot to say, or at least I had a lot I wanted to say. I didn't want to give out too many spoilers, but yeah. And so we'll do that one. And then next one would be letter P. That one's going to be easy. That's Phantasma. I keep saying I'm going to read it because I really, really want to, and then I don't. That's not how you spell Phantasma. Let me try it again. Like I said, I could potentially, yeah, apparently I haven't gotten to it yet. I've only gotten through here. So anything beyond this point, I haven't tagged yet. I'm still working my way through them. It's just going to take me a little while. And then any new ones will get tagged as I upload them. I'm uploading them with the name of the book, the name of the author, and the name of the series if it differs from the name of the book. So like if it was, you know, Winnie the Pooh, as you can see on there, Winnie the Pooh is also the name of the series. So I wouldn't tag it twice. It's there. And how that looks is, see if I can find a, I think this is its own. Nope, dang it, that's not what I wanted. Click here. You can see Revolve by Balcabra, and it's from the Off the Ice series. So if I search for any of those words, it will pop up. Make my life easier. Little by little, we learn as we go, right? Okay, 3-syllable words. Let's take a look at my January TBR. I could do shadow face. Yeah. Or I could do uprooted. Or Appointment with Death I could do. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna go with Uprooted because why not? I don't think I've tagged that one yet. Here we go. Natural disaster. I I've been thinking about choosing one that I started the series at the end of last year, and it had what sounds like there's an EMP. We don't know at the end of the first book what the disaster that started the ball rolling as it is was, but if it was an EMP, the likelihood is it's not a natural disaster. It is a disaster, but it's not a natural disaster. There are some things that would potentially be natural disaster with the same type of EMP type stuff, but I don't know what it is. So I'm like, I don't want to put that on there if that's not actually natural disaster. But that's what I want to read for that. I could also read the next book. No, because that doesn't feature. It's after the disaster. Okay. I don't know another one for a decade or more yet, but I have several historical things on my list for different book clubs, etc. So one of those probably will fit there. Suspension of disbelief will be probably anything fantasy, to be completely fair. Um, I don't know how picky I want to be on that particular one because, like, are we gonna pick something that's um, magical realism because that also requires a suspension of disbelief? Are we going to pick some types of romance because disbelief must be suspended in a lot of things that go on in romance books these days. So I'm like, I could technically fit so many things that I like to read into this category. Do I want to go with any of those routes, or does it like need to be a book that's taking place in our current day and we're having to just put things to the side and be like, this is a book, the thriller must go on. Like, thoughts? Let me know. What do you think? Because right now, I kind of feel like I want to leave this one blank and fit a book in when I can't find anywhere else to put it because so many of the categories that I read fit or would potentially fit there. Book face is the next one. And I originally was thinking about doing Black Sun, but I don't know that I would be doing that correct because I'm making that one. Well, it's going to show up. Hold on. Bring to the front. I don't know that that would, I mean, yeah, kind of like, what do you think? Like, there's no eyes and it's not actually a face. Like, the bottom part of the face, but the top is not. And like, I can't put my face behind it to where it, like, where it's cut off. You can't like put your face behind it so that like it shows up the whole thing. So I'm like, well, maybe that probably doesn't work for the thought behind it, right? But I'm gonna read this one, and it kind of ish fits. So anyway, thoughts. That was the way I was gonna go, and then the more I thought about it, I was like, I don't think that one goes so well. Character list. I have not looked any up yet. We will have to look at Storygraph. Where am I going with that? My brain. And then Deus Ex Machina would be the next one, and I have looked up one for that one. I would like to read Things Gods Break because I think that it's gonna fit pretty well. Um, so I'm gonna put that one there, and then I believe I read one last year that was a similar prompt talking about like it needs to have the author talk about their dog, and it was Rachel Gillig. So obviously I'm reading One Dark Window, so I could do the next one in this, which is Two Twisted Crowns. So I think that's the route I'm going to go. And I don't know that I've already labeled that one. I'm trying to think. Oh, I did. Hey, nice. So let's go ahead and pop that one on there. I mean, I can Google it. 1 second. Let's Google. Does Rachel Gillig's author bio mention dog? Yes, explicitly mentions she has a dog. Poodle named Wally. That's a cute name. Okay, strong emotion. That's another one where I'm like, okay, that could be a lot of things. It could make me mad. It could make me giggle. Well, is giggling a strong emotion or a gentle? I have issues with figuring out like my own emotions sometimes. So, yeah, I'm leaning towards something that makes me either laugh out loud, so like I cannot stop the joy, is how I'm thinking, or something that makes me angry. And I won't know what that book is until it happens. I could guess, but I won't necessarily know for sure. So other things it could potentially do would be makes me cry because a lot of things like I don't cry a lot. So if something made me cry, I could also use it there. But again, I won't know until it happens. So like I can't pick one for this one. Okay, nosy neighbor. I did take a look on the story graph a couple days ago when I was thinking about what I wanted to do with this one, and um, it said, or a lot of people were choosing the spell shop. So I have not read that. I have heard mixed reviews on the spell shop. Um, so I'm like, well, wouldn't hurt to try it. I could always DNF it if I absolutely hate it. Um, sorry, I can't type at the same time. Have a nosy neighbor character. Um, if I hate it, I can, probably pretty easily find a nosy neighbor character. A lot of mysteries have a nosy neighbor character. Okay, apparently there is a character named Laron, maybe, that is nosy. So we'll do that one for now. And then last year, I was looking for, that was a day of the week. Last year, I was looking for a book. A lot of these are in here because I've already decided I either wanted to read them for something else or I was looking last year in the case for this one. And it was towards the end of the year, but I was trying to finish a prompt for something else. I can't remember what it is now, but I ended up, I think it was something with teens. Like it had to be a YA book with adventure. Anyway, I came across the Friday Society and it looked adorable, but I didn't go back to it and do anything other than that. So I went ahead and popped it into the like the one I already downloaded in here when I downloaded the rest, and I noticed it when I was tagging everything, and I went, huh, forgot about that one. So yeah, I think we're gonna go with that one, and then I will have a new to me author that maybe I will enjoy. But yeah, that was a weird way of saying this is kind of happenstance on that one that I came across it because I just did it as a bulk upload and apparently I had downloaded it at the end of the year when I was doing a lot of other challenge stuff and just ta-da! All right, Grumpy Sunshine. That could be so many things. I read quite a bit of romances and a lot of the ones that I enjoy are Grumpy Sunshine. They just are. But I am going to be reading Adversary to the Villain probably as soon as I can get my hands on it when it comes out. Because I have mentioned before that I thought the third book was the end and I was looking forward to it and then found out it was the third but not the last and about melted down. So I want to see the end of the story and I want to see it as quick as possible. It's supposed to come out in August, so that means I should be able to finish it this year. So we're gonna go with this one for Grumpy Sunshine. Let's see. The other ones I've already picked something for because either I've already read it for this year or it fits into a read it watch it challenge. So Ender in Exile, I mentioned this one on my live. At least I mentioned it a couple places, but I think I mentioned I was reading it or I planned on finishing it up when I was talking on my live most recently. And then 450 from Paddington is on the Read It Watch It challenge, and it's also on a TBR for January. This is the first book I read of the year, Monsters Mate. And then Small Magics, I already read as well for two authors, one pseudonym. So FYI, Ilona Andrews is a couple. They're actually a couple who write books together, which I think is super sweet. Um, I think that it would not work in my relationship. I think that we are both very opinionated and passionate about the things that we like and dislike in our books, and we would not do well together writing a book. We do well in many things. We do not do well in, I imagine, writing a book. So more power to them. I couldn't do it, but yeah, I enjoy their books. So I'm glad I did this one. This one was a compilation of a bunch of different shorter stories and novellas. And was it my favorite of theirs? No, but that's just because there was not a lot of meat to it. And you know how I feel about novellas. That I like the lore and I like more information about the group and the world and all of that stuff. But I prefer novels. I just do. I think it has more ability to do things. Um, anyways, next up, these ones I've already either are planned or they're already planned for this month, and I started pulling things from here, or they are on the Read It Watch It. Blah 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 blah. Same where I talked about. So this is the second half, little under half because there are two less on this page than the other. So um, set in the Arctic. I don't think I have any Arctic books other than I was looking at Dan Brown's books the other day, and he has one that I believe is set in the Arctic. So the one I read last year for an Arctic style a type prompt would not work for that series again because the entire series isn't set in the Arctic. It's just that particular book was set in the Arctic. And all the other ones that I was looking at when I was trying to pick that one out were like about penguins. And I don't really want to read a book about penguins this year. Or at least that shouldn't be like, that's not the one I really want to read currently in my current mood. I'm a mood reader. I've mentioned it before. So it could definitely happen in the future, but not right now. I'm not really in that mood. So we may go back and look at my series tracker. Well, it may not be part of the series. I may have to just look up Arctic Books Dan Brown to find the name of it. But um, I know that he has, or I'm pretty sure he has one there, which means it would be thriller, mystery esque, mostly thriller. Author related to another author. So these two are authors that are related. And when this came out, I was like, gonna have to do some Googling on that one. And I found out that Janet Ivanovich has a family member named Stephanie Ivanovich. And since I plan on at some point finishing up the Stephanie Plum novels, I feel like that's the route I want to go with it for now. I don't know that I have both of them tagged already, but we'll do that one. And let's just try Ivanovich. Maybe. I do already have that one done. So I'm going to go with these guys. This one is supposed to be a romance, and this one obviously is a romance, but also comedy. And it's not like every book is a romance. Like the entire series, there's like coming in and out of relationships. Stephanie does, and um, there's two love interests, and Stephanie's a mess. But a fun mess to just read when I'm on the road, or when I'm trying to fall asleep, or when I just need a break from every day. Like, sometimes it's just fun to have something silly, right? All right, so publisher starting with the letter B. I'm gonna have to pull up my stuff for Storygraph. And I mean, pretty much anything. Sorry, my phone just buzzed. And if you heard that, I apologize. Anything by Berkeley would fit. Dungeon Crawler Carl's on here, but it doesn't say specified. Is there a specific publisher? That doesn't look like a B. Okay, so maybe that person uploaded it to the wrong prompt. 1984 is by published. This one at least is Houghton Mifflin, which would not be a B. Not indeed a B. And then Penguin Signet looks like it's been done by a lot. Oh, Blackstone Audio did indeed do 1984, and I plan on reading 1984 this year. Maybe that's the route we go. Because we all know I'm going to read it on an audiobook if I can help it. Just because that's how I read like 80 to 90% of the stuff that I get through right now is audiobook. I wasn't always an audiobook girly. I very much went through book only, love book, to ebook because it's easy to travel with and I had to get rid of most of my physical books, to now being like, oh, if I set the exact speed that works for my brain, I can really get into the story more and I get less distraction and I can, do more taking in of story because I can listen while I'm doing chores and yada 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 and driving and all that stuff. So it's been a change. I may circle back around. We will see. I don't think I'll circle back to physical books because I just don't have the space for physical books, as we can see. But the other, anyways, off topic. Let's see if I don't think I have 1984 already tagged. I'm 99% sure I do not actually, but I may. We'll double check. No, we don't. Let's find 1984 actually. Trying to think when I would have uploaded that so I can like scroll down to the stuff that was around then. Yep, it's right there. Okay. And I could change this at any time, and that's one that I will keep on the back burner for potentially updating. Because what I want to do is I want to sort of update this as I go through books and be like, okay, where can this particular book fit? And if I haven't already finished a prompt, then it's kind of up for grabs. Even if I already have one chosen for that, I could potentially move it around. Unless obviously I'm about to read a book for that, then obviously I don't think I would change it. But yeah, top grossing movie. I did already look up the top grossing movie for when I was born, and that's gonna be who. It's gonna be Roger Rabbit, which the book is Who Censored Roger Rabbit, but I don't believe it is actually, yeah, it was Who Framed Roger Rabbit in the movie. But the prompt was going to be fulfilled by the book, which is Who Censored. And I'm going to fix this while we're here. And I'm not going to put the whole one. The puppy is here. She is trying to get my attention. It's not dinner time just yet, puppy. Nope, it's not. But you can say hi to the people. Yeah, you want to say hi to the people? No, don't want to say hi to the people. Just want to get petted. You're gonna... She's a little crazy. She will, like, throw herself around, just to... Thank you, sweetheart. Just to get the perfect angle, and then she, like... She's crazy, but we love her. She's an old lady. She's uh, got very few teeth left. But she's, um, yeah, she's an old lady. All right, so it's 1988 because that would be an easy one to tell when I was born. So, um, there we go. Character with a secret identity. Back on the Rachel Gillig bandwagon, we read The Night and the Moth. Well, I read The Night and the Moth. Um, November, December, very, very end of the year. I think it was December. And she has a secret identity, kind of, in that the identity is kept secret from everyone except for the like inner circle. No, not even then. They all know that she because of her attire, but like yeah, no, that's not. I don't know why I'm thinking that's a secret identity. It's not a secret identity. They just had like a surprise. This is what you could have been. This is who your people. Yeah, there's not really a secret identity in that at all. So I don't know why I was thinking that route. Secret identity could be anything that is um like a spy book or a book where like the character doesn't know who they are, so maybe like a um, secret princess trope, hidden prince, secret princess, either one trope. I don't have any currently on my TBR that fit either of those, so we may come back to that one as well. Award-winning book from last year. So there are so many options. And I'm pulling up Storygraph right now to see if there's anything that I'm really, really interested in. Okay, and there we go. So I'm just gonna scroll, see if there's anything. Well, did Dungeon Crawler Carl win an award in 2025? I don't know that it did. At least I didn't hear about it. Maybe it did though. Oh, oh, the series did. The seventh book. So I would have to read book 7, which means I'd have to get through 6 books before I could read that one. Maybe that's not the route we go, because I definitely want to read the first one, but I don't know if I want to sign myself up to read 7 books right out the gate. I probably will. I'm hearing really, really, really good things about it, but I don't know for sure. Oh yeah, she was New York Times bestselling author this year. I remember watching the short come up in my feed like maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Now, obviously, it could have come out any old time because we see things that are like really old. At least I do in my stuff. So maybe that's the route we go. Let's put that as there as an option. I don't have that one uploaded. Not that I didn't want to read it. I just haven't found anywhere to put it yet. And we just scrolling and scrolling. If there are ones where I'm like not 100% sure, or even just if I am 100% sure, that you have ideas for, please do let me know. Didn't win any major awards. Oh, I probably should put book. No. Okay. Books that I already have on my list of things that I want to read. We may end up going with Elise's book. Well, let's try this one. I feel like this one may have won an award. It did, and this is on my list. So maybe we go that route. I'll leave them both on there in case I, for some reason, change what I'm reading this one for. Let's try berry, just before I get into it. Hey, there we go. I love that. This one, obviously, it'll be, I have 12 times to pick. There'll be sometimes months I probably don't start anything on the 25th. Like maybe Christmas, as an example. All right. Domestic fiction. I'm pretty sure the things we cannot say, which is on my priority reads, is domestic fiction. So let's type that into the Google. Is the things we cannot say domestic fiction. Elements of domestic fiction blended with historical fiction, women's fiction, and dual timeline. Obviously, I didn't look up what this one was about. I just know that it was an assigned read for a book club. But I thought that this was taking place in the US. But it looks like it's taking, oh yeah, contemporary America and World War II Poland. So that's, I was like, I think it's taking place in the US, so it should be considered domestic fiction. Maybe. Obviously, we're going to do something with, well, maybe not obviously, Marissa Myers. Because I do need to read Stars Above. I'm skipping and coming back to it. There we go. For this one. Because I know what that one's going to be. I don't think I've gotten, I could do this one. I've already read that one. But I could also do A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. Both of those are options for this one. For now, we'll go with this one. And I've already looked up the Goodreads recommendation, just as an FYI, because I knew I wasn't going to be looking at Goodreads today. So I went ahead and figured out what that was going to be. So I'll skip ahead to that one. Sparrows. It's going to be Shield of Sparrows. Okay, handwritten interior font. So let's go back into Storygraph again for that one. Girl on the Wall, I enjoyed that one. Well, I don't know if I would say necessarily like, oh, it was so fun. It wasn't a fun read, but it was a good read. Does tourist season? Does tourist season book by Weaver have a handwritten interior font? No. Anywhere in the book. So no. Okay, we'll keep school because I'm going to read this one anyway. I'm very much enjoying Bryn Weaver's books generally. Like, I have not had a miss so far in any of the ones that I've read from hers. I don't see any that are on my TBR already. As in, like, gonna be coming up soon. I mean, sure, there's, oh, We Will Die. Again, this is one that I literally just got from the library. Okay, we'll go with this one. Because I know I'm gonna read this one because I just got it from the library. I didn't think I was gonna get it for like months. Well, I think I said it was like 12 weeks or something. Let's pop back over without that one. Oh, it's literally right here. Fabulous. Okay. Personification. That one may be one we need to look again. Let's see. Scrolling. I think we already used Uprooted. We did. A lot of these are ones I've already read. I mean, maybe that they're all really highly read ones too. Let's go with Project Hail Mary. Let's double check. Does Project Hail Mary utilize personification in the book? Yes. Okay. So, Project Hail Mary. Oh, and I just realized I didn't have it turned back on so you could see the story graph. Sorry. That is my bad. Biographical fiction. I haven't picked anything out for that yet. Same for diacritical mark. I haven't even really thought about that one. Well, this one I have thought a little bit about. I think the easiest way to do that would be to pick something that's been translated from a country that has a lot of language in a country that has a lot of diacritical marks in the language, because English doesn't have a ton of diacritical marks generally. I mean, you do have some when you're writing an IPA, which you can write in for obviously any language, but that's not something you're going to find on like a regular fiction novel. Um, and then you might have some in like anything about etymology of books. There might also be something there. Or potentially anything with a name of someone from a language that is full of diacritical marks. There's just not a ton that I can think of, like off the top of my head. Let's, I guess, pop back over. And I did remember to put it up there today. Let's see. Or this time. I am all over the place, man. Let's see. Anything that's on my list. This one would also work for, am I just not understanding what diacritical marks are? Oh, no, this Garcia. That's why. Okay. And cafe. Okay, so I am. Okay, I feel better with that. Anyway, I got distracted. Scrolling. I could read another Charlotte Bronte. I haven't read Jane Eyre yet. Have I already put Jane Eyre in here? Because I originally thought I wanted to read Jane Eyre for a Herkyet prompt, and then switched it out for a different book. Another Charlotte Bronte book, but it was not Jane Eyre. No. All right, we will just search for a Jane Eyre book and then look at the images. I think the likelihood is it'll be one of these guys, and this one's the ones from Goodreads. So we'll grab. No, that one's very grainy. I'm gonna go with this one. It's fine. And we're gonna call this Jane Eyre Charlotte Bronte. And then upload. And now it should be uploaded. There we go. It works. There's my diacritical mark, which goes down here. Related to the word for nemesis. You could choose a lot of options for related to nemesis. My first thought is you could use like an enemies to lovers, where they are like opposing forces professionally, or villain and superhero kind of love. But I already have, speaking of villains, Vicious by V.E. Schwab on my list for a Herkiad 1.0 prompt, so I don't think I have Vicious already labeled. I do. I got further than I thought. Otherwise, it's fine. Includes a map. That'll be a lot of things that are fantasy, and then published in 2026. We're just gonna find Garnet. Apparently I haven't labeled that one yet. Through Gates of Garnet and Gold. That's the first one. My January read. I'm not going to get to read it in January, unfortunately. There's just, I do not see that happening. Last I checked, I was still like 12 weeks out, so hopefully you'll get it sooner than that. All right, so how many do I have left? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 out of 52, which, let's see, how much is that actually going to be? 16 divided by 52, 30%. I've only done 70%. I mean, yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's a passing mark. Okay, so I'm going to label the ones that I'm not going to be able to do right now, because like this one is started on the 25th of the month. So it'll just be whatever I do for the 5th of the month. And then strong emotion for the same reason. I won't know until I get there. Suspension of disbelief, we talked about why we're going to do that one later. So that's 3 more. So that makes 13. 13 divided by 52. No, that's wrong. 52 minus 13. 39 divided by 52. 75%. So I got 5 more points. Let's go ahead and see if I can pick something with a map. Oh, I have an idea. Act like I'm at a table, sorry. Lord of the Rings, the second one. The Two Towers. Definitely has a map. I remember I had this book in high school. I didn't read it, or if I did, I didn't keep it in my brain. But I had it at my house, and I remember looking at it. I think I read the first one, and it was like all of the books together. But anyways, so the reason I don't want to pick a biographical fiction one is because I had to find a nonfiction about the character too, and I could probably find biographical fiction really quickly, but I need to spend some time searching for something that character in Prompt 45, so nonfiction that I really, really, really want to read, because I try to read like one nonfiction book a month or so. It's not like a hard and fast rule, so it's not something we do together because that's just how it works out. And I want to make that choice for the nonfiction book I read that month, whatever month it is, like well thought out. Secret identity. Let's go over to what number is that? It's on the second page. So like halfway down, secret identity. I'm pulling back up Goodreads, Storygraph. Let me see if I can make this bigger so you can kind of see more since I'm going back and forth. I don't know if it's actually very useful to make it bigger, but I tried. Hopefully that is somewhat useful. So we're looking for a character with a secret identity. Let's see. If you see something that's amazing, please do let me know. Ooh, this was just recommended to me, but not that particular one, the first one. So, Spark of the Everflame. Is there a character with a secret identity in... And you know what I just realized? The one I originally picked out for this, definitely, well, I mentioned that I was thinking about in my brain, will fit. Because I kept thinking, oh, well, she's not got a secret in it. I'm pretty sure another character doesn't say the main character, but several characters in Spark of the Everflame with secret identity. Okay, we could do this. We could also go with, what is the name of that book? The other one from M.A. Carrick's, Rook and Rose. Which would be Labyrinth's Heart. I think that's where I want to go. I want to go Labyrinth's Heart because I want to finish the whole series. So what am I thinking? I think I'm on the wrong page. Yeah. I was like, I can't find the secret identity. No wonder, Heather. You are on the wrong page. And I just made it smaller so that you could see where I put it, which is at the top, right here. So we're probably getting close to 80% now. Closer and closer to a better score. Thinking from a grading perspective, not from, like, there's a score for this one. There's not. Alright, so these guys I'm going to spend some time actually, like, researching. Please do let me know about these ones specifically. Like, if you have a nonfiction book about a character that also has biographical fiction written about them, let me know. Oh, why are there two of this one? Because I am looking for ones. I would love for that to also be about a woman, but it doesn't have to be. But if it's about a woman, then I can fit that into a prompt on another one. And also, I want to read about awesome women in history. So, kind of both. All right, domestic fiction. I will likely read domestic fiction without even having to think about it. So I'll leave that one blank for now. So let me add Labyrinth's Heart. Have I can spell Labyrinth's Heart? How do I spell Labyrinth's Heart? Labyrinth. Oh, I can't spell. There it is. All right. And then let's go. I guess we could go back for an Arctic one, which is okay. Last year I read At the Mountains of Madness, for a similar type of prompt. But I don't really, I mean, I don't want to reread. That wasn't my favorite. And I'd like to read something new. Why not? The puppy is back. She's gonna sit with me for a minute so I can get this done. Otherwise, she's gonna start barking again. Hello, puppy. Let's see. Apparently, she is really, I don't know, she's maybe mad at the cat. She's been mad at the cat for 3 years now. I mean, does this take place in an Arctic, like, location. Yes, but it's a whole different planet. I mean, does that fit though? Because it doesn't say an Arctic environment, it says Arctic or Antarctic. So I read that as needing to be done on Earth. Because I mean, I wouldn't mind picking up a fun, quick Ruby Dixon book. Calm it down. Calm it down. Um, see, like I said, lots of ones with penguins. Hey down, Roxy. Is this one actually? I'm reading this one this month. Does this take place in the Arctic? She's sitting in my lap finally, chilling out a little bit. Does this book take place in the Arctic? Is there? No, it says a C. I was right the first time. Yes! Wait, is Alaska part of the Arctic? Plenty of wintry Alaskan atmosphere fitting into the broader Arctic setting. Okay. Done. I'm supposed to read that this month. Wedded. That was easy. I also could have picked a number of other books if I had realized that Alaska counts as Arctic. Why was I thinking it's like polar circle or nothing? I don't know. My brain was just like, gotta find something happening in the circle. Why is this coming up for wedded? I don't think I have wedded. Oh, I bet you it's in, yeah, weddings. Okay. Very confused today. I'm tired. Okay. So, yay for Storygraph doing great jobs. It's one of the great things I love about obviously Storygraph, but just generally, um, book lovers everywhere are able to discuss things a lot more socially, in a broader sense than they were when I was growing up, or even like 10 years ago. Like, unless you were regularly like running into people in the library or like joining book clubs when I was in college, that just wasn't a whole lot of discussing of like, hey, read this. This is great for that reason, blah, 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 blah. And there weren't a lot of like challenges that weren't put on by your local library, at least as far as I was ever aware. And nowadays, there's so much more social interaction and it's so much more fun to like pick things and recommend and discuss and be like, this is what I like, this is what I didn't like. And I feel like it's a lot of fun. Okay, so next up, how far are we in? We're almost an hour in. So I don't really want to go over an hour just because that's a lot of um, sitting around for you guys to do. But let's go back to Storygraph again, and maybe we'll look at two more. Let's look at the natural disaster one. All right. It's another natural disaster. Okay, well, we're not going to do that. We've already got it picked somewhere else. And I brought up both of these, but I don't, nothing's really made me feel like I need to go over to them. I'm just going to double check that I don't have any of these. Snow crash. Does snow crash have to do with a natural disaster? Does snow crash book I know it's sci-fi, and I know my husband wants me to read it. That's pretty much it. Already collapsed due to economic and governmental shutdowns. No. So not really. Okay. That's the only one I have on my TBR that for January at least that might potentially fit that I can see. Frozen River would actually have been. Oh wait, is that the one I was thinking of, or is it the other one? No, that's not that one. What is that book? One second. This would be an option for going to look at the priority reads list, but not for this year. For last year. Okay, let's see. Do I have that easily findable? Because I read a book last year that was first in a series, and I could look at the series list, but it'll probably be faster. Would have probably been a thriller, and it was definitely here. See, the other one I mentioned was Edge of Collapse, which I don't know for sure that it is a natural disaster. If I can't find anything else, I will look this one up and see what the second one is. Voices in the Snow is, I think, what it was. And this is Stargaff. I was going to pull up the Read It, Watch It challenge in case I wanted to look at that. Okay. This is the one I was thinking of, right? Yes, this is the one. And it's part of a series, and I did actually want to read the next one, even though it was very creepy. And I was like, what is going on? Black Winter. Can I get that from my library? Is it available at some point in the next 11 months? Opening Libby, which I meant to bring up, but I haven't done so. And Secrets in the Dark. You know what? Another one that I could probably have read would be the sequel to Village Under One Roof. Would have probably fit into the Arctic one as well. Since it's Alaska. Secrets in the Dark. Coats. It does look like it is available. We may go that route. So let's copy, and we will add that to our list of options. And then I did actually want to look up Edge of Collapse and see if it's a natural disaster. Because if it is, that's another one I mentioned that I did really want to read. Major disaster, but yeah, it's an EMP. It's an attack, it says. So that was my assumption. It didn't come out and say it. So I guess that wouldn't necessarily be a natural disaster. That's okay. We'll go with Secrets in the Dark. So, copy. I need a book. See, look, creepy. Just creepy. That one's better, but it's got let's go with this one. Save images. Oh, I did it wrong. Dang it. Save images. And I wanted to do it the right way. Secrets in the Dark by Darcy Coates. And it's going to be Black Winter, because that is the series it is part of. Right? Yeah, Black Winter. Kadoke. So we'll just do these guys for now. It could change. Oh, I already did that one. We're going over here. That's the plan. Upload. There we go. And we will go with natural disaster. Kangaroo words. What are y'all using for your kangaroo words? Because I've looked at them a little bit, and I haven't really spent a lot of time thinking about them, to be completely honest. It could be fun to like sit down and just think of all the kangaroo words I can think of, but I haven't. Because it feels my brain has a block on it for some reason. And I keep seeing it pop up and people chatting about it everywhere, but it seems like a lot of people are sort of fighting about it a little bit. So I will let that one percolate a little bit more later. Maybe give it a couple of months, a couple of weeks even, and just sort of keep watch and see if anything pops up in discussions that I'm really interested in. So we'll purplify this one for now. It will be unpurpled. That's not the way purple is going to be meaning forever, just for the purpose of right now. And then usually purple means I read it during the month. So, okay, book face. I want to do some research on that one about what it actually means. Quotation marks, potentially a book of poems might work really well here. And I am reading a bit about poetry. I'm reading that book yet? It's This Trauma is sponsored by, or This Trauma is sponsored. This Trauma is sponsored, doesn't contain quotation marks. Yes. Wait. It says it doesn't. I'm going to redo this again. Does book contain quotation marks? It says, yes, it does not use quotation marks. So that's a little bit confusing because I specifically asked, does it contain quotation marks? And you said, yes, it does not use them. So, interesting. It looks like people are actively discussing using the audiobook if it upsets you to not have them. So we'll go with that one. Glad I thought about that. I literally didn't know it was a book about that was poetry until yesterday. I picked this book because it fit a couple of different ones and it sounded interesting, but the little blurb I read about it did not mention that it was poetry. So I was reading a little bit more, trying to see if it fit a different prompt for, what was it? So I think it was for Joe's challenge that I don't do on here on YouTube, that I was trying to see if it would fit somewhere on one of her prompts, and it said poetry, and I was like, wait, this poetry? Fabulous! I don't think I have a poetry book on my TBR for the year, so now I have one. All right, spans a decade or more. Let's see what people are saying about that one. Spans a decade or more. Click. Let me bring that back up. So things that I could potentially have in here, anything that has flashbacks potentially, or anything that is multiple generations, or that takes place over a long period of time. Like Charlie Donnelly had a book last year that I read, or the year before, that I really liked that would have fit with that. Those Empty Eyes. That would have done well because it starts out, and this is on the back and it won't spoil anything, but it starts out that her family is murdered. And then she's like in high school, I think, and then it jumps forward to her way later. Maybe it's not a whole decade, maybe it's only like 6 or 7 years. But she's like done with school and she's living abroad when this one takes place. And then also The Girl Who Was Taken, I think, is another one that is over a decade because the girl's sister disappears in the very, very beginning, and then she is looking for her as an adult. Like, she's not expecting to find her alive or anything. She's just hoping to solve the mystery. So, if Guess Again, I like Charlie Donnelly. I think that she does a really good job on psychological thrillers. So maybe we will check that and see if Guess Again will work. It says a decade. Okay. Save. Guess Again. Charlie Donnelly. And I'm not sure actually if there's only two I think that I've read by Charlie Donnelly. I don't know if I mentioned a gender when I was discussing Charlie Donnelly. I am not sure of the gender of this author. I assume it is a gentleman based on this picture here. But that, if I click on it, it could potentially not be the author. It could be somebody who's reviewing the book or something. I don't know. But for some reason, I was thinking that it was a woman, probably because both of the books that I've read have had female protagonists, but that doesn't mean anything. So I don't know why my brain was like thinking that route. I guess because usually I don't really think about it all that much. Maybe I should think about it more. All right, so I have a couple of options. I could choose set in an ancient, get rid of that, set in an ancient civilization, or go look at character list. One of those two I could probably finish up. We're in an hour and 7 minutes and get us out of here by 1:15, and do the other ones as the rest of the year goes on. I think let's maybe look at ancient civilizations because I could choose something maybe that is mythology based. I like mythology. That could be fun. I was like, or I could potentially choose if the Stargate does Stargate have a book? I'm sure Stargate has a book series, but I imagine it's probably present day, even though it's mythology based. But like, no, that still wouldn't be set in ancient civilization. It'd be the ruins of an ancient civilization. I'm like, the first movie starts out. No, I'm just all over the place. All right, let's pop back up with the bottom there. All right, ancient civilizations. I mean, does that have to be an Earth ancient civilization? That's another option. We could go with like going back and forth between like ancient civilization and present or future in an alternate place. Or we could go with its current is the ancient and we're looking way in the future for a sci-fi vibe. But I feel like that's not really what we're looking for. That is technically fitting the brief, but it's not maybe in the spirit of the brief. Ooh, this one was literally recommended. Like, what is today? Today is Monday? On Friday? I mean, that could be fun because if this is gonna be fantasy, but it's set during the time, so that could work. Let me just double check. Do other people agree? Is this set in an ancient civilization? And then we gotta go over here. No. Contemporary reimagining. That sucks. Because that one is on. I literally requested that one from my library already. I was like, that would have been perfect. No. Okay, that's fine. We will pick a different one. I'll give it another like minute or two and then we'll wrap up. Just in case I see anything that looks in line with something I would really, really enjoy reading that pops up real quick. I do actually want to read a Greek mythology book, but it's like the actual mythos. Well, I mean, it's been translated. It's a thick one, though. I read it in college for a class. It's like that thick. Yeah, I think I may have to spend some time looking at these ones because there's a lot of fantasy here, and I'd want to like deep dive on them and say like, are we actually in that civilization? Are we in a civilization that's based on an ancient civilization? Because that's not quite fitting the brief in the way I'm interpreting it. Doesn't mean other people can't interpret it that way. I just am not currently thinking that way. Okay. So we will say that I will come back to the other ones that are here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is like a little over 10%. 5 divided by 52. Yeah, a little under 10%. 9.6%. That are not chosen yet, but are going to be chosen soon, hopefully. And then all the purple ones who are here, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not going to pick those right now. So, all right, which is the same. Again, a little under 10%. So we're looking at like 80%. Love that. All right, that's B. We will call it for the day. I'm going to bring this down so I can chat with y'all. Let's go with this one. Yeah, there we go. Hello. And so I will see you guys in the next one. Let me know if you have any suggestions for those ones that, especially we didn't pick anything out for today, because they are stumping me a little bit. I've had it sort of percolating in my brain for a little while, which is why some of them went really fast because I read all of them ahead of time. It wasn't like a blind react or anything. And so they've sort of been like percolating in there, thinking about it, brewing and saying, this one might work, that one might work, whenever I had a few minutes. But yeah, I have also been sort of doing the same thing with Pop Sugar. I know I said I wasn't going to be looking at it at all, and I'm not going to do any planning for it at all for another at least month. But as I read a book, I do scan to see if it fits a prompt. That way I can just pop it in there because, again, there's quite a few prompts, and they're in a number of cases very specific. So I want to make sure that if I can go ahead and knock one out, I do so. Get the easy ones out of the way, and then I can sort of deep dive on the more complicated ones as I have time over the next, like in a few months, over a few months. Because that one will be the hardest one, in my opinion, to just do accidentally. They're much more pointed in the specificity of their prompts. So therefore, you have to sort of really do some research, at least not for all of them, but for a good chunk of them. So I don't know that I will do that one fully on camera and everything because I feel like it'll take so long to do that way. If in a couple of months you guys are also struggling with some ones, maybe we'll do like a live or do like productivity sprinting, and I'll be working on that while we're doing it. That's sort of a thought that I thought about because of course, but I'm not sure that that's the way I want to. I'm not sure what I want to do with it yet because I don't think spending 2 hours doing research is ideal. And if I try to edit out all of the bits, then it'll get very choppy because I chat a lot while doing this. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoy. I am doing pretty good with challenges so far. Most of the books that am picking for like my TBRs are fitting at least 2 prompts, like 2 different challenges. There are some that either fit nothing or fit just one thing, and just because I want to read it. But by and large, I'm able to fit most of my reads so far, at least at this far into January, which is like 10 books so far. I'm averaging about one a day. I'm not reading an entire book every single day, but like I'm averaging, I may finish the end of one and start, I'm averaging about one a day at this point, just because a lot of them have been pretty short. They've been like 300-ish pages, 250 to 300 pages for the most part. But yeah, anyways, I will see you guys in the next one. Have a wonderful day.